And she's gone.
What
What happened?
happened?
What happened?
I don't know.
This was not the intro we were going for.
What happened?
I
Oh
don't
gosh,
know.
Robert.
All right. Well, I'll take over the intro while you figure that out. Welcome to episode 6 of the Metanoia Effect. There are just two perspectives today. There she is. All right. You all good? All
Yes, I
right.
am.
All right. You can jump back in.
Okay. Well, sorry about that glitch in the matrix. Welcome to the Metanoia Effect. Portia is not here today. She's off being fabulous. And Robert and I are going to get into a fun conversation today about what happens when you've been working on things and life throws a curveball and something happens that disappoints you. And I think if we would have had this conversation maybe 5 years ago, it would be a very different conversation. But I wanted to start it off with, how do we keep going when something we worked on really hard suddenly changes? And I just had this situation happen. I worked on some courses, 7 courses 3 years ago. I did the video and a guided meditation. I did workbook pages, journaling pages. And all of a sudden, the platform that was hosting it is totally gone. Totally gone. Message customer service. Customer service does not get back to me. So every link on my page goes to nowhere. So I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And the old me probably would have cried. And today's me was a little disappointed. I was human and was like, what do I do now? But then the higher self said, you know what, Dawn? Recreate them, do what you can do from where you are. And they turned out better than they were before. And so because that glitch happened, it forced me to go back, relook at them, create some new additional things with them. And so I was able to look at that. Again, the human part of me was disappointed at first, but I didn't allow that to, stop me. And so now they're better. They're back up. Different platform. It's much better than it was before. So it's new and improved. I wasn't going to new and improve it myself, but the universe made me. So, Robert, you think of a time where you've had something that initially looked like a setback, but it turned out to be better than it was before?
Yeah, of course, when I lost everything in 2023. I mean, I was literally staring at a completely blank future. And for me, being a visionary, that never happens. Like, I always have a what if on standby. But for this particular time, I just did not. I just came to the realization that I have to get out of this situation. And I didn't know what the next step was going to be. Like, I had nowhere to live. Like, my kids were separated. I had no income. I had to walk away from my business. So I had no income. I had destroyed my credit because I wasn't being paid. And I was literally in a dark place. And for someone who's constantly trying to bring light to people, that was a scary place to be. But had that situation never happened, I wouldn't be on the path I'm on now. So it's one of those things where sometimes life has to crumble in order to get you on the path where you're supposed to be. Because as humans, we can get complacent and we can think, I'm doing okay. I'm making okay money. I'm making an honest living. I have my clients. My kids are all healthy, and people just accept that. But when there's more waiting for you, and you know that you're destined for more, it can be scary to go after it. Because to your point, being a human, the negative what ifs are always there. It's like, what if I leave the security and this doesn't work? But had that situation not gone exactly the way it went, I wouldn't be this version of me, because that forced me to level up again, to dig myself out of that hole, to level myself out again. And now I'm rebuilding the staircase again to get to where I want to be. So yes, I felt that pain and I'm on the rebuild as we speak.
I love that. And, it's a reframe for sure. And again, we have to acknowledge the human part of it, the disappointment, whatever that comes along with it, because we can't bypass those feelings and those
Yeah.
emotions, right? They're real. But then we can say, okay, instead of having a pity party for more than I don't know, 10 minutes, then what do we do? And so what you just said leads me into the next question. What role does gratitude, perspective, and support play in resilience? And for me, gratitude was like, okay, you know what? I had access to all my courses. They were still saved on my computer. I had access to all of the journaling prompts. So I didn't have to recreate everything from scratch. So there was the gratitude. Okay. I found a platform that I could figure out the back end myself. And I was grateful for that. And perspective. Okay. The perspective was, okay, I'm going to make this better than it was before. That was the reframe that I was able to take from that. And, sometimes we don't see it within the first couple of days, right? For you, in your situation, how were you able to, when did you start seeing the reframe in your mind?
With the situation I just shared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had restarted my podcast, right? Because I paused it for a minute because my life is in shambles. So it's like, how can I get up here and preach being your authentic self, where right now I'm pissed at the world because I don't know what's going on, right? So I paused it, but that was the key sentence of what I just said. I was mad at what happened and who was involved in what happened and whose fault is it. And I was doing a lot of this and not enough of this. So when I restarted my podcast, that very first guest that I had, I swear she was put there for me. Because just everything that she said, it was about self accountability and not taking no for an answer and opening up every door and knocking on every door possible till she got what she wanted. I'm like, and that totally embodies who I am at my core. And I'm like, who is this imposter that has taken over my body, that has taken over my mindset? Like, because this is not me. And I remember brushing my teeth and I just locked eyes with myself in the mirror. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're drinking yourself senseless. You're hiding out in your mother's basement. Like, you're not being in English, not being an inspiration to anyone. It's like, this is not who you are. It's like you've lost your purpose. And I had that conversation with myself. And then as soon as I was done, because mind you, I had no car at this time, I jumped on my bike and I rode to my area high school and I spoke to my track coach and I got back into coaching. And that moment, that first practice, as the students gathered around, they were all locked in on me because I brought a different energy than their current coaches. The current coaches are both in their 70s, just old school mentality. And here I came at 51. Well, I was 49 then, but I just came with a different energy. And just the way the students responded to me, it relit my soul. And then from there, the positive snowballs just started happening because people think that the snowballs only go downhill. No, they go uphill also. But it was that moment, just watching the students applying what I'm teaching them, like watching them hungry for the knowledge and the discipline. I was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah. And had that not happened, you wouldn't be back at the high school with those kids.
Exactly.
So there's the reframe. And I think what you said, I think we have to give ourselves grace because we are human, and life is going to, have its ups and downs. It's never going to go up, perfect,
Yeah.
all the time. And I think that when we give ourselves that grace and we say, okay, what is this redirecting me towards, instead of saying, why did this happen? And when you said you hit that the podcast guest that you had was like exactly the person you needed to talk to, you also talked about when your dad passed and you had a podcast episode guest that was scheduled months in advance, and she was talking about grief. So that happens in your life a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, I believe that we can speak things right into existence, and sometimes you're just in the right spot at the right time. Like I told you about the young man that had the issue with his daughter. Like I hadn't crossed paths with him in months, maybe even over a year, and I just happened to see him on my Instagram thing. I didn't. All I did was I clicked on his profile, and I ended up seeing him a couple days later at at the local shake shop. And it's just so weird how that works, or even how we reconnected. You said you were thinking about me this one day. I texted you the next day, and then here we are. It's like that stuff happens all the time.
I know. Well, one of my courses is called The Art of Surrender. And this I literally have had to learn so many times. But when you really trust whatever your higher power is, and you just say, okay, I don't know the next steps, but show me the way, things are going to start happening. Connections are going to happen. Emails are going to come through. Like, you don't know. And it seems very woo woo and out there, but I'm telling you, this has been my life, over the last several years since I learned to trust the process, hold the vision, trust the process. And I want to
Love
share
that.
this cute story. This story just happened over the weekend. My daughters were both flying home to Ohio to go visit my family. And my oldest daughter was in Phoenix. She flew to Las Vegas, and she got stuck in Las Vegas because she missed her connecting flight. And so she gets stuck in Vegas. And she was supposed to leave at 2. She was going to get into Cleveland at like 9. And so she was going to work with that, figure it all out. And then she gets a notice saying, oh, no, that flight's now delayed till 5, which meant she wasn't going to get into Ohio until like after midnight. And so I'm like, Portia lives in Cleveland. Let me text Portia and see if she has any ideas of what Taylor can do. Because my mom and my family lived over an hour away. And so she didn't want them coming up to get her at midnight. Right. And so
Yeah.
I call Portia. I audio message her. She calls me immediately and she goes, we'll pick her up and she can stay at our house, like for the night. And she picked her up at 12:30. And I was so excited because Taylor's never met Portia in person. Well, she never met Portia at all. And I've always wanted them to meet because they're two of my favorite people in the world. And unfortunately, this is how it had to happen. But because it happened that way, I haven't talked to either of them since it happened. And I can't wait to hear, how that went. But again, Taylor could have been very upset about what was happening, but she kept a really positive attitude the entire time. She wasn't stressed. She just was like, okay, what can I do? And then we had this conversation about, I was in Rwanda. I was in Africa for over a month. And I was finally coming home, and I had an 11 or 13-hour layover in Ghana. And I had been asked to speak at an event in Ghana. And every single leg of that flight was delayed. And I kept looking at the phone going, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. And then this thought came in my head, Dawn, you can freak out and stress out about missing this event, but there's zero you can do about getting that plane there earlier. So you can either experience this stressed out, or you can sit back, listen to your music. You're going to get there at the exact same time. It's your experience of the situation is going to be vastly different. And what do you have control over? How I think about it. So, like, how does that,
Love it.
do you have some situations in your life where it's like you literally caught yourself going down oh my gosh, and then you said, no, I'm not going to do it?
Yeah, that happens all the time. But before I get into that, I just want to piggyback off of something you just said. But I also don't want to forget the question you just asked me. So let me jot that down.
Good, because I'll forget it.
Yeah. So getting back to things happening for a reason. So there's a woman I went to high school with. Hadn't spoken to her in decades, right? Decades. But I guess she was following my journey of donating the kidney to my sister because her brother needed a kidney. And so she just happened to reach out to me on social media this one day saying she's going to be in Rhode Island for a bit. Can she come up and join the gym part time? I'm like, sure. So she comes up. She was up here for a few months, but like almost every day, she was just picking my brain about the whole process. And like if I was afraid, did it hurt? How long was your recovery? But like almost every single day. And she had the procedure to give hers to her brother, and like a couple weeks later she moved back to North Carolina. So it's like I just felt like she came back in to help build up the courage to have that. I mean, I'm sure there's people between North Carolina and Rhode Island that have given kidneys, but for whatever reason, she felt drawn to me. So like those things definitely do happen. You can't explain it. I mean, it's tough to think that all of them are coincidences. Like when it happens repeatedly in your life. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't believe in coincidences. Carl Jung talks about synchronicities, and I think everything that happens like that is a synchronicity. At the right time, at the right moment, something is going to come in that is supposed to be there. Whether it is, sometimes I'll be writing something, I'll be thinking something, and then somebody on the TV will say the exact same thing that I'm thinking, and it happens all the time. If it just happened
Right.
once in a while, I'd be like, but it happens so often that it kind of doesn't even surprise me anymore. When I first started noticing it, I'm like, whoa, that was weird. But now it happens so often. And again, because I've surrendered more and said, look, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm just going to trust and believe. And I keep seeing more and more things, I mean, the way we met, think
Yeah.
about it, all those years, what was that, 2020 or 2021? I happened to be on somebody's podcast. You happened to watch that podcast episode. You messaged me, and then we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. It's so
And then
wild how that works.
introduced me to Portia, who is my soul daughter. So it, again, right place, right time, and we took the action steps. You could have said, oh, I'm interested in what she has to say, but not take any action on that, but you did. And I feel like that's the part. Take the action when the thought comes into your head. If you think, and I've gotten to this place in my life where if somebody crosses my mind just randomly, a cousin, a friend, I'm like, they crossed my mind for a reason, so I'm going to reach out to them.
See, and speaking of reframe, that's like when people say, "Oh, so and so only reaches out when they need something." And I was like, "Yeah, but you're taking that as a negative. Like they needed something and they thought of you." It's like people forget that there's power in that. They could have picked anyone, but they thought of you. Like that means you left a mark on that person. So if somebody reaches out in a time of need, like why would you take offense to that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like there's millions of outlets out there, and they thought of you. Like when my friend Waleska reached out to me, like I hadn't seen her in a long time, but like she was one of my longtime clients. I want to say 2013 and 2014. I want to say, and she just messaged me out of the blue, and I did dodge her at first, to be real, right? I did dodge her at first, but I was like, all right, let me reach back and see what she needs. But she was going through stuff, and it's like had I just ignored her, it's like she was going through stuff and she thought to come to me. And so that's how I take it now. If somebody reaches out, I don't look at it as, oh, they're just trying to take advantage of me. They're just no, like they need help in that moment, and they picked you as the person to come to. So now I take that as a compliment.
I was thinking the same thing, and that's happened to me too. I've had people reach out to me that I haven't talked to in years, and they'll ask me something about going through my divorce, or how did you know it was time to leave, and we had a really good conversation about that, and I felt honored that of all the people in your life, you thought to come to me because you thought that my wisdom could be helpful to you.
Mm, love it. Yeah, and going back to your original question about like when things are coming at me all at once, I've learned to pause. I've learned to pause. And one thing that one of my mentors told me, like you don't have to be 100% all the time. She's like, you just have to be 51%. Like you just have to consistently want it more than you don't want it. So if you're in a moment where life is coming at you from all of the, just take a step back. Take a step back. Like here, like I'm at my gym. So here, if I'm working on something, if I'm getting frustrated, usually only tech stuff frustrates me. Like to what you were saying earlier, I bought a program because for me, I'm scatterbrained. Like I have a very abstract mind. And I'm one of those guys that has like 20 tabs open in my brain, right? That's me working on this.
And my
Ooh, what about
computer.
this? Ooh, yes, exactly. And my computer, I probably closed about 8 tabs before we started this live stream. But I've always said I need a software that can just automate everything that I need to do. Everything from lead generation to lead follow up to returning phone calls. And I just happened to stumble upon one. Right, it was $1,200. Right, I chose the 2 pay option, so I paid the $600. I'm trying to set it up. I get everything imported. I get everything verified, and I could use it to sell my book, to sell my ebook, to sell my coaching services, to sell my track and field programs, like all in one area. Perfect. So now it says click add new product to add your first product. So I was trying to upload my book. I'm looking at the instructions. See, some men do look at instructions, and
I
it
don't.
says, and it says top right corner, add new product. So I go, and the button's not there. So I'm like, what the heck? Like I just spent the last hour setting this thing up. I'm like this. So I message the support bot, and it's like, oh, well, you were just verified. So like, give it a little bit of time and then refresh the page. So I do that. Nothing. Now this is on a Thursday. Like I wanted to have my products live on Friday because I work my side hustle all weekend at a seasonal restaurant. So I was like, I wanted to get everything done Friday. All right. So Friday comes, the button's still not there. Now I'm emailing support, and they're like, yeah, the button's in the top right corner. Like I'm telling you, the button is not there. So she's like, well, can you send a screenshot? So I send the screenshot. Nothing. It's like, well, the button should be there. I'm like, but it ain't. Like I don't care where it should be. It's not there. So now I'm getting frustrated. And so now we're into the weekend. I work because I go from the gym straight to the restaurant. So it's anywhere from like a 12 to 14 hour day. So like I don't have time to really mess with it on the weekends. So now we get to Monday. The button's still not there. Same issues. So now I'm like, I just want a refund. Like I'm done with this. Like just give me back my money. And at first she's like, oh well, you're out of the refund window. I was like, what? I was like, the website said 30-day guarantee. Like I bought this on Thursday. I'm like, today's Monday. So then they're like, well, can you upload your receipt? I'm like, is it not in your system? Right? The same system that you use to bill me should show what date you billed me. Right? It doesn't make an ounce of sense. So anyway, I just had to compose myself, walk, let cooler heads prevail. But a lot of people get overcome by that anger. So when that anger hits, I step away. I do some laps around the building, just walking. Like I'll put on like my headphones, listen to something positive, and just come back down to earth, revisit the problem, and handle it with a clear head. But a lot of people, that anger hits, and then it consumes them, and then a whole different side of them surfaces.
You know what? I am so glad you shared that because as I was trying to, I'm learning the back end of this new platform, right? And with this upload, and then I'm 50% through, and it's taking like 4 hours, and then all of a sudden
Mm.
I click it, it clicks off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to start all over again. And so when that happened to me last week, because before I probably would have cried, from frustration or just so angry. But instead of being angry, I'm like, take a deep breath, walk away from the computer, go pet your dogs, go get something to eat, go have a beer, like whatever it is, go do something to remove that so that you can come back with like a clear mind and a clear soul, and you can
Yes.
be like, okay, let me come back at this. So there was a lot of frustration going on when I was first, like the first one was the hardest one, and then the learning curve set in and I got better and better. By the time I got to the seventh one, I was like getting pretty proficient at it. But I love that you said you go take a walk, you listen to something inspiring. Are there other things that you can do when you feel that like that anger come up or that frustration come up that could help people as they're going through it? Because that's not unique to you and I, right? I know everybody
Yeah.
goes through periods like this.
Yeah, music. Music is another good one. Something upbeat, get your vibing a little bit, right? And when people, the joke in class is, because like I'll sit here, a good song will come on. I'm like, ooh, sidestep music, sidestep, right? I start sidestepping, and people start laughing. So when people come in and I can tell that they're having a rough morning, I'm like, so and so, do we need to sidestep? And I'm like, come here, give me that hand. Like, give me that hand. Let's go side to side. And it works every time, every single time. And like people think you have to have this major, profound thing, but you really don't. When that anger starts coming, just shift to something uplifting as quickly as possible. And then let your mind realize, is it really worth me losing my crap over that? It's like, is it
Right.
really? Okay, so the push button thing isn't here. I'm getting ready to just lose myself over that, over a tech issue. It's like, come on, it's like breathe.
Right. And I always ask myself, like, is this going to bother you in a day, in 10 days, in a year? Are you going to like look back at this and is this still going to be an issue or a problem? So I try to reframe it like that too. But also, just walking away from the circumstance in the moment that you're feeling all that frustration build up, it is really, really helpful. And one of the reasons I really wanted to share this is A, I just lived it, right? And B, so many people will give up. They'll throw in the towel, but I'm stubborn. So I refuse to give up on things that matter a lot to me. So I'm not like walking away is not an option. So, okay, how can I figure out a different way to deal with this and to do this? So, and we're so blessed right now because we've got AI. So I could go into AI and say, this is what's happening and I don't know how to fix this. And what do I do? And, they can walk you through some steps and things like that. So that's also helpful. Think of all, and that's where the gratitude comes in. Look at all the resources that we have at our fingertips today that maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago did not exist.
Yes. And even the title of today's live show, when life doesn't go according to plan, change the plan. Like, don't change the goal, change the plan. Like when people are here in the gym, say someone wants to run faster. It's like you don't run faster by simply just running. Like, and this is like a real life thing that I'm working with. This guy comes to me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. because he wants to become a faster runner. And all right, well, like how much interval training are you doing? How much weights are you doing? How much stretching and mobility are you doing? How often do you work on stride length? How long do you work on generating power with each step? And all of these things. He was like, like it's more than just one thing. You can't just simply run, right? Even lifting weights. I mean, yeah, but bodybuilders are very strict into their routines. But for just average everyday fitness, you need diversity of trainings. Like you can't do the same thing over and over and over. It'll work in the beginning, you'll drop some weights, you'll build some muscle, but then your body adapts to it. And then once it adapts to it, you plateau, right? So you constantly want to be doing different things. And that works mentally as well. Like if you don't try something that's going to challenge you, like I did last week, I had an event last Sunday, and there was a vendor booth at the event that had one of those little spinning wheels. So I spun the wheel and I won a free intro pack to this. It's called the Plunge Experience, where they have like infrared saunas, they have like infrared rooms, they have a cold plunge. Now I hate the cold, hate
I
it.
don't do it.
So I'm sitting here looking at the list of options, and I'm like, I'm constantly telling the people here, you build resilience by doing hard things. That's how you build resilience. So I was like, do the plunge, just do it. So for my first session, I spent 30 minutes in the sauna, followed by, he said, up to 3 minute cold plunge. So I get there, and he's like, you don't have to hit the 3 minutes. And so, oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's like,
He doesn't know he's
like
talking to
you, yeah. I'm like, you can't tell me that the target is 3 minutes, but I cannot hit the target. I do not work that way. Right. So I'm in the sauna. The sauna was hot too. Like I actually had to vent the door a couple of times. It was that hot. But then it came time for the cold plunge. And the whole time I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like I do not want to do this. And so I get one leg in. I was like, oh, I was like, no, 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 no. And then I get the other leg in, and it probably took me a solid minute before I finally sat down. It's like I didn't fully go up to my neck, but I got to about my chest. But I mainly did it for my knees anyway. And so I got in, like, and I'm speaking with the owner, and I just did not focus on it. Like I just locked on him, was focused in on our conversation, and didn't give the fact that my body was literally freezing any attention. And I shared that not because of me getting through it. It was something I didn't want to do. I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it, but I knew it was going to make me stronger. And that meant more to me than what I had to go through to become that stronger version. And I think that's why we all came together, is to help people unlock that part of them that will help them face that hardship, that fear, that pain, and so that they can come out of it stronger.
Yeah, do the scary thing. I always say outside of the scary thing, like on the other side of it, that's where all the magic happens. So do the thing you don't want to do. I mean, not something that's going to kill you. Cold plunge is clearly not going to kill you. How cold was it, by the way?
Well, there were two options, and believe it or not, I didn't take the worst option. So it was one was 50 degrees and one was 40 degrees. I mean 45 degrees. But even that 50-degree one, that baby was cold, especially coming out of the sauna. You know, because like
Okay.
they have you rinse off in the shower after the sauna, and so like I made it colder and colder and colder just to kind of prepare my skin for it. But I did it though. I lasted the whole 3 minutes. But yeah, it was definitely not enjoyable, but I did it, and
Will
I'm
you do it
actually
again?
gonna go back and yeah, I actually bought a 6 session pack, so I am gonna do it again.
Yeah. Well, at one of our episodes, I talked about how I did the zip lining through Costa Rica, and
Yeah.
I don't like heights, but I did it anyway. Now, will I do it again? I don't think so. But I wanted to challenge myself and say, you know what? You are terrified of this. You are literally hanging on a wire, zipping, thousands of feet above the ground. And I did it just, I don't know. I was just on this journey of like pushing myself past those limits. Right. And so I'm glad that I did it. Not going to do it again, but anyway, we are coming to the end of our episode today. This was a really good conversation, and my hope in these questions was letting people know it's okay that life is going to have, no, it's not okay. It's inevitable that life is
Yeah.
going to have these setbacks and disappointments. It's how do we face them? It's not just about positive psychology and always looking on the bright side, because again, we're human, but taking a moment, looking at it and saying, okay, what can I do? How can I continue going? This just moved me in a different direction. It's redirection, not like annihilation of your dreams. So, Robert, before we end, would you like to leave us with one last thought?
Yeah, just to reiterate what you just said, like everyone's gonna struggle. You know, just because we're up here on the platform doesn't mean our life is 100% stress free every single day. Like that's not the case. Like you know, ups and downs. It's inevitable. It's like an EKG, right? That's life. Life is like looking at an EKG. 1 second you're riding the highest of highs, the next second you're like, what the hell just happened? You know, but when those moments get here, you got to remember what the main goal is. So yeah, right. You gotta understand what the main goal is, and you can't let that setback detract from the main goal. Like for myself personally, the people here at the gym need me. My track athletes need me. My audience needs me. Our audience here needs us. You know, so I can't let this setback, which grand scheme of things is probably petty, right? And we'll use the example of a flat tire. Like so someone can get a flat tire at 7 in the morning and say that their whole day is shot now. It's like what? Why? Change the tire and move on, right? And move on and have a great day. Like that one setback doesn't mean that the whole day is a bust. I remember I had like a tough couple hours this one day, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're having a bad day." I'm like, "I'm not having a bad day." I was like, the last 3 hours were it was a challenge, but I got through it. That doesn't change the great classes I taught in the morning or the milestones that my PT people hit or the milestones that my athletes hit. Just because I had a 3 hour struggle between 1 and 4, right, doesn't negate all of the good that happens. And that's what we do as humans. We can have these 24 hours in a day, you get 8 hours of sleep, so we'll take 16 hours that you're awake, give or take. And if you have 14 good hours and 2 tough hours, the 2 tough hours somehow overshadows the 14 good. And if we could just reframe that and say, all right, I had a great day besides this one little hiccup, the rest of the day was great. And I think people would live with a lot less stress.
That part. That part. Thank you so much for this conversation. I always love our episodes. So thank you all for tuning into the Metanoia Effect today, and we will see you next week.
Take care.